I'm humble, I'm hungry, and I'm teachable. I'm alert, I'm curious, and I'm responsive. I'm open, not closed. Check my ego at the gate. You with me? Because that is the way we need to think. So for you, how interested on a scale of 1 to 10 are you in your potential? There's something called motivational discomfort, which is your willingness to abandon things that either are not working or have worked to a certain point. Here's what I see people do over and over and over. Get the same result, get the same result, get the same result, get the same result, do the same thing. Would you be willing this year to add 2 new strategies? Would you be willing to ask yourself some hard questions? Why is my closing ratios where they are? Would you be willing to consider doing it a different way? Would you be willing, right? It took me 18 books to write a Wall Street Journal bestseller. 18. Why? You know the difference in number 18? I hired a coach. He gave me 5 strategies. I paid $18,000 for those strategies. 3 hours. Did the 5 strategies, made the book a Wall Street Journal bestseller. Now here's the question, Matthew, right? Because you've been in my coaching programs. Why didn't I do that on book number 4? Why didn't I do it on number 5? Why did it take me 18 tries? Because I got sick of writing good books that didn't hit the list. And here's the deal, it's not the best written books anyway, it's the best marketed books. And if I'd have just paid the money to get in the room with the dude who knew how to do it, I would have done it 10 books ago. Now, everybody see that? Okay, so for you, there could be a better way, and that's basically what we're saying here. That's basically what we're saying. So let me ask you this. What would you sacrifice? What would you give up to be the best? Because isn't it true that you may have to let something go? See, Dave talked about this. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. Very few people do, right? I listen to one person, they say this. I listen to another person. But let me ask you a question you can control. Would it be possible that you have to let go of something to go get something new? See, some of you may have a bad attitude toward prospect. You may have a bad attitude toward people. An attitude is a posture of the body represented by a physical state. 2017, I bought an airplane to fly around the country in because I was away from my kids all the time. And I was talking to my pilot one day and I said, out of all the instruments in the front of the plane, what's the most important instrument? You know what he said? The attitude indicator. He said, that attitude indicator, coach, tells you, are you ascending? Have you plateaued? Or are you descending? And he said, you don't ever want it doing this. It's a little instrument in the front of the plane. Isn't that interesting? You have an attitude indicator. It is either ascending and dynamic. It is plateaued and static and stuck, or it is descending and entropic. Would you agree? And if you are trying to attract people to you, the first step to attract other people is to become attractive to other people. And this is coming from a little 5'6" bald-headed dude. I'm not talking about how good you look or how handsome you are. I'm talking about the energy that you create and put out into the marketplace. And if you're not interested in your potential, other people are not going to be interested in joining your team. You want to get a text daily from me, 5 days a week, activate and reactivate the Pray Drive, some of my best concepts, a little shot of Coach every single morning. I want you to text this number, text Monster Producer to this number, and I'd love to come into your life every single morning and get that Pray Drive activated. Let's go. Yes or no? If you study why people join teams, it's very important. They join teams for 3 reasons. Number 1, I trust that you are the best person in the world to help me with my potential. Number 2, I have a sense of belonging. By working with you, I feel like I'm a part of something. And number 3, I have a sense of purpose. We are doing bigger things than just selling houses. We are helping people. If you study any great culture, they have those 3 tenets. I trust, out of all the people I could choose, that you are the best to help me with my potential, to hit my goals, to help with me. Number 2, there's belonging cues. Do you know they did a study and the teams that touch the most in the NBA win the most? High five, pat on the backs, hit each other on the butt. I do not recommend that at work. But the teams that touch the most win the most. Teams that touch the least lose the most. Those are called belonging cues. Part of something. We're not isolated. We need each other. So let me go back to a bigger question. What would you be willing to give up to be the best? See, this is a picture of us on championship night. It took me 13 years, 80-hour work weeks. Didn't have a family, didn't see my friends, didn't have a life. I was married to one thing, winning. 13 years to achieve that one goal. People ask me, do you regret that? Not one second. Because you know what it's like to be the best? You know what it feels like to, when it's all said and done, that there's nobody better than you? There is no feeling that they can ever take that away from you guys. That is why you got to start getting interested. Now, here's what some of you will do. Oh, yeah, I'll be a good agent, but I'll never be a great agent. This was me. I'll be a good coach, but I'll never be a championship coach because they never won any championships here. That was my identity. 25 years old, I go, you know what? I'm going to be the best. Started writing books. I'll be a good author, but I'll never be a Wall Street Journal best-selling author. Then I made a simple decision. Everybody see that? The word decide means to kill something off. Decision means to cut something away. So when you're thinking about this, this is why I really want you to think about this. Now, along the way, I started writing all these books. Obviously, there's the bestseller, Flip the Switch. And I started thinking, speaking on big stages, there's me at 10X. And when you think about it, here's what I learned by speaking at 10X. When you have a sample size of this many people, 10,000 people. Imagine if you had 10,000 people. See, I took my daughter to see Taylor Swift in Kansas City, 11 years old. Spent $3,500 on the tickets to see her. I went as a dad and I came home as a Swiftie. I'm like, I love that woman. And you know what my job was for 3 hours or 4 hours? Filming every single song she sang. I stood in the back with my camera and my daughter told me, you get this one? And I was like, you want me to film the whole concert? But what would you do for your kids? Do you know why I paid $3,500 for those tickets? My 11-year-old daughter left there thinking bigger. My 11-year-old daughter left there thinking bigger. I watched a person have 50 to 75,000 customers in one night. Generated $13 million in one night, and then she did it again the next night with 50 to 75,000 more people. Then she did it again the next night with 50 to 75,000 people. And whether you like her or don't like her, there's something. And I told my daughter, said, you know when she started doing this? 4 years old, 5 years old, playing the guitar. I remember seeing her in Nashville, Tennessee at the stadium at 13. And I told my buddy beside me, I said, man, I just don't know if she's going to make it. She wasn't that good at 13. Boy, was I wrong. But I want you to think about that. The discipline of 20 years of a long obedience in the same direction. See, when you study people that are great, you think they're more talented than you. But they're not. Colvin wrote the book on this called Talent is Overrated. They actually just found their talents earlier in life than you did. And they had a long cycle of practice. How good would you be if you started studying real estate at 4 years old, 5 years old? Mozart was playing music at 2. Serena and Venus Williams playing tennis. Tiger Woods was on a golf course at 7 months old. See, you look at people like, oh, they're more talented than me. They're just more gifted than me, but that ain't true. See, I was coaching at 15 years old. I had a speaking coach at 15. I'm 47, 33 years, 34 years I've been doing the same thing. Long obedience. And when you see people who generate a lot of income or make a lot of money, you go, man, you spend your whole life being underpaid. At some point you get overpaid. Right? Our coaching company does more in a day than what I used to make in a year as a high school basketball coach. And I'm the same person, just with a long cycle of obedience. Does everybody see that? This is how you got to start thinking.